So you're thinking about moving to Boston in 2025. You've probably already seen the brownstones, the rooftop bars, and those shiny walkable city headlines. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Living here feels completely different than just, well, Googling it. Why do locals plan their drives around a 30-minute tea or driving bubble? Why are Red Sox invites basically the new happy hour? And why does it suddenly feel weirdly luxurious just to walk along the Charles? This isn't a pros and cons list. It's not a top 10 slideshow. This is what life actually looks like in Boston. Once the movers leave and your new routine kicks in, and if you're even thinking about making the move, you're going to want to see this through. There's a moment, usually a few weeks after you move in, where it all hits you. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, autumn leaves swirling outside, and you suddenly realize my whole life just shifted. New pace, new weather, new rhythm. And probably one of the first lessons you are learning is that Boston doesn't run on distance. It runs on time. Because here, where you live doesn't just decide your view. It decides your entire lifestyle. It's not just the skyline that sticks with you. It's the stranger who holds the tea door, the barista who learns your name by week 2, the friend who texts you with Fenway tickets when your week's falling apart. Okay, so here's something nobody tells you before moving to Boston. The city doesn't run on miles, it runs on minutes, and I'm serious. Ask any local and they'll tell you the same thing. It's more than 30 minutes away on the T or by car. I'm not going. That's the Boston bubble mindset. It's this invisible radius we all draw around our lives. Work, school, the gym, groceries, ramen, it all needs to fit inside that little bubble. Because the second you start talking about crossing the Charles at rush hour or jumping on the green line during a Sox game, it's game over. I'm out. And look, it's not because people are lazy. It's just that Boston traffic isn't built like a big city grid. You've got old streets, one-ways, bridges, tunnels, and a love-hate relationship with the T. So instead of fighting it, locals just learn to build their lives inside the bubble. Back Bay, you've got everything packed in close. Trader Joe's, Newberry Street, your local gym, your sushi spot, boom, done. Charlestown, people there live entirely different than, folks in JP or Somerville, and they all think the seaport is kind of a hike. Even if it's just, 20 minutes on a map, it feels way longer when the bridges are jammed up. It's wild how fast you adopt this thinking. If you're relocating, this is huge because it means where you choose to live isn't just about square footage or school zones. It literally shapes your daily life. So when you're choosing your neighborhood, don't just look at what's nearby. Ask yourself, is this the kind of bubble I actually want to live in? Because here in Boston, your zip code builds your orbit. And hey, if you're already starting to picture what your 30-minute bubble might look like, reach out. Whether it's Back Bay, Jamaica Plain, the Seaport, or anywhere in between, we want to be your local real estate team of choice when you're ready to make that move. All our contact info is in the description and pinned in the chat. We're here when you need us. Now, the rhythm of Boston mornings. Now, once you lock in that bubble, that's when the rhythm starts to take over because the mornings, they hit just a little different. Let me show you what your day might actually feel like. So you found your bubble and now it's time to live in it. Let's talk mornings in Boston because mornings here, they hit fast. The cold hits early, the tea or the roads fill up quicker than you think. And if you're, not ahead of the game, Boston will humble you. Now, depending on your bubble, your morning vibe can look totally different. In the South End, people are up early, like early. You've got joggers sweating by 6:30, grabbing Flower Bakery to go by 7, and somehow squeezing in Pilates before work. Over in JP, the morning grind's more family-focused. Kids at drop-off, folks hitting local diners or dodging traffic on the Jamaica Way like it's, a Mario Kart course. If you're remote working from Somerville or Cambridge, you might roll into your kitchen with an iced coffee and a view of the Charles before hopping on a Zoom in your Sox gear. But here's the thorough line. Mornings in Boston move fast, but they don't feel rushed. There's a flow to it. You learn when to leave the house to avoid the bottlenecks. You find your favorite cafe with the least chaotic seating. You just adjust. And honestly, there's something kind of satisfying about it. Like, once you crack the rhythm, you feel like you've unlocked this local cheat code. And so now I want to ask you, what's your ideal morning vibe based on your routine or your 30-minute bubble? Where would you live in Boston? Well, drop it in the comments. I'm curious what kind of Boston pace fits you. Okay, so once the morning rush fades out, that's when Boston starts to show, well, off a little. Because if you know where to go, and more importantly, where not to go, you'll start to unlock the version of this city only locals really get to enjoy. Let me, well, take you there next. Here's the truth. Boston doesn't just have hidden gems, it runs on them. And once you live here, you start figuring out the moves. Like, yeah, everyone talks about the North End, and it's cool, okay food, but locals go on Tuesday nights. No parking battles, no massive crowds, just nice background music, and, well, better people watching. You learn fast that when you go in is just as important as where you go. Let me throw, well, a few more at you. If you want killer tacos without the wait, try the Taqueria Jalisco in East Boston. Tiny spot, huge flavor. Best barbecue without the scene? Try Blue Ribbon in both Arlington and their Newton locations. And, well, tell Danny I said hello. If music's your vibe, head to O'Brien's Pub in Allston. 70 seats, indie bands, true neighborhood atmosphere. Need to kind of like escape the weekend madness? Okay, well, go ahead and skip Revere Beach. Hit up Castle Island or take a ferry to Spectacle Island. No spring breakers, just quiet views and ferry rides. Yes, the ferry is only seasonal though. And don't even get me started on the coffee. Everyone Instagrams Tate Bakery. If you want a spot where the barista knows your order and you can actually get a seat, try Three Figs in Somerville or Simon's in Porter Square. Or go ahead and mix in with the old timers, locals just sipping a cup of coffee at the Hole in the Wall place in Dorchester or South Boston. That's the stuff no travel sites are going to show you, because Boston isn't about bucket lists. It's about building routines and places that make you feel like a local. I've got a list honestly a mile long, but I'll tell you what, I want to hear from you. If you're a local, what's your go-to hidden gem in the city that most people overlook? Drop it in the comments. And the best part, well, many can say it's getting more expensive here in Boston. The lifestyle doesn't have to cost you anything. Here's the part that really messes with people. You don't have to necessarily spend money to feel like you're living large in Boston. Try going for a walk on the Esplanade. You've got skyline views, street musicians, people jogging and biking. Till this day, it's one of my wife's favorite impromptu date nights. We walk the entire Esplanade, stopping at a few spots to enjoy the views, listen to live music, and enjoy the evening weather. You can also grab a picnic blanket, catch a free concert at the Hat Shell like Boston Pops, or just sit and people watch while the sun dips over the Charles River. And it's the kind of stuff that feels like you paid for access, but it's just how life works here. I've always said the city likes to make up more reasons to host celebrations, and many of those you can just show up and enjoy. The head of the Charles Regatta turning the Charles into a party, St. Patrick's Day parade in Southie, fireworks on the 4th of July, and snowport in the Seaport around the holidays. Looking for green without the crowds? Rambler Park in Fenway is a bird watcher's dream. Or drive out to Allendale Woods in West Roxbury, a quiet, kind of nostalgic wilderness right here in the city. And for a secret city walk that few know about is the Gridley Locks footpath, where you can watch boats navigate the Charles through, well, the real river walks. On weekends, you've got farmers markets, art walks, harbor sunsets, and the neighborhood festivals that feel like the whole city just came out to chill. No entry fee, no velvet rope, just open space and good energy. It's like Boston took what other cities charge for and just kind of made it part of their everyday rhythm. Okay, well, a lot of life here feels like a win. There are some curveballs you won't see coming, so let's talk about the stuff that catches people off guard. The good, the weird, and the definitely not in the brochure moments. Let's talk about what actually surprises people after they move here and what they wish they knew. Here's what happens after a few weeks in Boston. You found your coffee spot, the moving boxes are gone, and then real life sets in. Your heating becomes a lifeline. It's running constantly, and you're suddenly learning terms like radiator bleed and storm window inserts. Then it's the critters. One hard rain or a skipped gutter cleaning and the mice throw a house party. Street parking? Awesome. Until you realize it needs weekly maintenance and you're trying to figure out street cleaning days. let alone a snow emergency. Same with the yard in the summer. Grass grows, but most people just hire it out. And layered over all of it, the New England stuff. A nor'easter shows up on the news and suddenly you're Googling neighborhood snow routes and trying to figure out if you need to shovel your sidewalk or not. You spot a wild turkey crossing Center Street in Jamaica Plain. A goose blocks traffic on Memorial Drive, and yes, the wind wraps around you like a hoodie you just can't take off. And here's what no one expects. You adjust. You start doing yard work before 9 a.m. You get strategic about when you run errands. You settle into a flow that just makes sense here. And just when you think you're kind of buried in the upkeep, you get a text from a new friend saying, "Hey, are you free to catch a Sox game at Fenway?" Next thing you know, you're in the stands, breeze in your face, sausage in your hand, and you remember why you came. Or maybe you're playing pickleball on the Common in April, grabbing brunch on a patio in the North End in a puffy jacket while your friends in Florida, well, they're already sweating. Boston isn't a fantasy. It's a functioning lifestyle. And once you get in sync with it, it starts to feel really, really good. Here's the part that people don't realize until they're already here. Where you live, like your exact neighborhood, shapes everything. Commute, vibe, energy, who your neighbors are, how often you leave that 30-minute bubble. Let me show you where people actually live and why the brochure version doesn't always tell the full story. The question everyone asks when they're thinking about moving to Boston is, where should I live in Boston? But here's the problem. When you're searching from out of state, you're probably seeing all of the usual suspects. Back Bay, Beacon Hill, Seaport, downtown condos with rooftop views and rooftop prices. And while those are great for some, they're not the full story. And if you're raising kids or want more of a neighborhood feel, well, Jamaican Plain is a go-to. It's green, it's tight-knit. You've got playgrounds, trails, and top schools. And I'm not just saying that. If you look at niche.com, it ranks it as a top spot for raising a family. Then there's Somerville, a whole different vibe. Craft coffee, murals, historic homes with just enough character to make, well, HGTV nervous. It's creative, it's local, and it's full of life. Especially around Davis and Union Squares, you'll find murals, indie cafes, and historic triple-deckers with, well, real character. If you need space, privacy, and maybe a home office or two, how about Rosendale or Arlington? Those are the quiet achievers. You get square footage, backyard room, and still stay close enough to downtown or the airport for when you want to. And if you're looking for water without chaos, high-priced seaport budget, East Boston is chill. It's local and way more residential than people expect. Waterfront homes, boat slips, and easy access to the open harbor. Especially around Jeffreys Point, you'll find marina access and waterfront townhouses that will fly under the radar. Here's the thing. Every one of these areas works for someone, but not all of them will work for you. And that's exactly where we come in. If you're even thinking about making Boston home, don't try to figure all of this out on your own. Reach out, we live it, we work it, and we'd love to be your local real estate team of choice. Now, when the weekend hits and the calendar's clear, that's when Boston really starts to, well, show off. So let me show you how locals actually unplug, recharge, and live it up without being full tourist. There's a point, maybe a few months in now, when Boston, it just starts to hit different. You're driving home in spring or fall, windows down, and the breeze, well, it doesn't feel like something you have to escape from. It feels like part of the reward. You stop noticing historic church towers because now, well, they're just there, lining your neighborhood, your school drop-offs, your dog walks. You start to feel a rhythm you didn't have back home. Life here doesn't scream at you. It sort of exhales. You catch a random sunset over the water, the golf course, or, well, your kid's soccer field while you're sitting there at practice. The kind of moment where everything goes quiet and you just think, dang, like I live where people vacation. I live where people love it. And what surprises people most, it's not just the weather or the views or even the waterfronts. It's the community energy. It's the block parties, the food truck nights, the Little League games, the concert you've always wanted to attend. You start to recognize faces at your local coffee shop or grocery store. You find your dog's favorite trail, and before you know it, you're not just living in Boston, you're rooted here. It's not perfect, but it's easy to love, and that slow burn joy, that's what really catches you off guard in the best way. So, could Boston actually be your next chapter? And if all of this is starting to feel like your kind of lifestyle, there's a reason for that. Let's talk about what it takes to make the move and where to go from here. So, where are you in all of this? If you're feeling like Boston might actually be your next move and you're ready to take that next step, I want you to reach out. Whether you're a few months out or ready to buy right now, we want to help you figure out the best area to live for your lifestyle. We'd love to be your local real estate team of choice. Our info is in the description, and we're here when you're ready. But if you're still in exploration mode, no pressure at all. You can keep diving in with us. Check out our Living in Boston playlist right here. You've got neighborhoods, walkthroughs, deep dive tips, and a ton of info that will help you picture what life really could look like here. Whichever path you're on, we're glad you're here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.